Grand Rising, live from Maine. Woo woo. The place to be and the place to relax, right?
Oh my God, yes. Welcome everybody to the People's Congregation of
Yeah.
Shakers and Movers. We are live from the magical Camp CBGB. And I was just saying to Matt, I'm on day 6
Yeah.
of not being in a car, not sitting in traffic, not dealing with the EMFs and the frequency of living in the city or the suburbs like I have for 28 years. And I did grow up in Maine, you know what I mean? So my core soul, just like as soon as I hit 95 and see that sign to Maine, my entire nervous system is just like, oh, wait a second. I know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to be home. So thank you to everybody who has been coming and going and sharing their energy with us. But I didn't really promote today because I kind of needed a minute in between. You know, this is kind of like the calm after the storm and the calm before the storm as I invite lots of big groups of people up. And so today was a day for me to reset and, you know, set the stage and clean and show the universe that I am ready for more abundance by taking care of what I have. So I spent all day cleaning yesterday, which again can be therapy, right? Like, especially when you add a little bit of the breath into it. And my big reward, I was telling Matt, as I went out on my floaty and I was practicing my belly breathing, watching my belly come in and out of the water. That was my big breathwork session for the day, which was amazing. But yeah, Matt went all the way back to Boston and came all the way back up with a puppy and everything to just hang out with us. So thank you for coming back to do this again with me up here.
Yeah.
I love the acoustics here. I love the way it kind of vibrates off of the patio. And then I love the addition of the wind and the birds. It's a really nice change of pace for us. And of course, I love doing podcasting in less clothes. Because
And
it's
it's just
Sandy.
so like mellow and quiet and open. And
Yep.
you can just looking across the lake and just seeing, just nature at its best.
Yeah, and it's a great place to combine, plant medicine and nature. We have a beautiful set of hiking trails out there. We have a bunch of kayaks. So hit me up, anybody, if you're looking for some nature therapy and you're a member of the church, because again, we cannot do this without your support. And my intention is to share this experience with people that maybe haven't really been. We had a lady here this weekend who, it was only like her second time in Maine, and she's 28 years old, and she really, like, I could just watch her day 2, day 3, really settle in and calm down. And yeah, everybody needs this. Everybody needs to incorporate nature into their wellness routine. So again, I'm on day 6. You can probably feel how much calmer I am since Friday even, right? Like, it's like I've really acclimated to the vibration and frequency of the peepers and the leaves and the birds. So it's I'm
it's
very
just
grateful.
kind of slowing the system down.
It's my kind of
Such
vacation.
a beautiful benefit, just sometimes not doing too much. Like you had a cleaning day yesterday, but then a lot of relaxing and floating. And I love floating. There's something about the water and floating.
It is so therapeutic. Yeah, I was actually on the paddleboard for so long one day that when I went to bed, my bed was doing this. Like, I was like, all right, I don't even want to be on dry land.
I sometimes even come up here and just sit.
Yeah.
And I still feel like I'm in the water.
Rocking and rolling. So Matt, so thank you for this practice. And the podcast is, it serves a couple purposes. A, it's accountability for me to do something consistently for the first time in my life. I mean, I've always been the type of person that I start. I was like Zumba queen for a hot minute.
Right.
I was beach body queen for a hot minute. You know what I mean? Like all those like little fads and different exercise things that I would try, especially postpartum. Just to find a community really was more of it. I think. So now, I think we're on like year 3 of me showing up and you showing up consistently every week doing this, and then me finding myself doing it in everyday life. And it's been something I've actually been really consistent with, so I'm proud of myself. And again, so the accountability is part of the podcasting. The second part of the podcasting is to, again, connect with those that cannot be here with us in person, and those who might have PTSD, trauma, social anxiety, autoimmune issues, cancer, whatever. Like, maybe they can't leave the house. So I do a lot of free, coaching and consulting with folks who are looking to find a spiritual community. So if you do know somebody who's struggling, we had a lady yesterday who was in a coma for 109 days. She found us, and I tapped her into Green Network providers to get some more solid medical advice, as I do not provide medical advice. However, I think a lot of the spiritual practices that we have begun to instill have become medicine for me and prevention for me, to hopefully not end up in a hospital And so I think that that's going to be hopefully part of the future of healthcare, is how can we, like, you know, show up for each other, have accountability, share with one another our love and passion and our gifts and things and talents. Like Matt has learned so much about like sound healing and breath work, and sharing that with each other, and just the kind of karma and the cycle that that brings, because then Matt can barter with people who might have other skills like massage, you know, licenses, or maybe he needs a haircut, or maybe he needs some fresh vegetables. So I think in our little community, we're going to be talking a little bit more this fall about how we can barter with one another and what that economy might look like for the future. And yeah, I'm hoping to have a meeting of the minds when I get back from off-grid camping next week. I'm going to send out an email this week, I swear, with a couple of options of times. So those of you that might be able to join us maybe one evening on a Zoom call, so we can call in the things that, you know, the community really wants to see and needs, because, you know, it's not all just about us. But Matt is a board member now, and we are 2 of the 3 members of the board. And shout out to Jason Gibson, who is my other board member / husband / creator of Soul Saturday. So Soul Saturday is our weekly offering of a vinyl DJ service, and that will be resuming the weekend after Labor Day. And we do that throughout the school year. And another shout out to DJ Frantic, who is actually organizing the schedule right now. So if you are a vinyl DJ, especially a female, especially humans of color and other backgrounds, we're kind of looking to diversify a little bit more this year. I'd love to hear more world music, and music, you know, from around the world that speaks to your souls. So yeah, the more variety of DJs that we can have to serve as reverends, as that is our service to the community, is raising the vibration with music. So again, I can't wait to get that started again, because who doesn't need a weekly midday dance party?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I had to miss so many of them last year when I was in school. So this year I'll be back in full force, and we'll get the Friday nights going again. So yeah, so look out for an email, and we'll get together and we'll chat about what we did and what we didn't do and what we could do and all that. So I think I'm going to actually brave doing this in the sun today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go sit in the sun.
I think my tan is really going to be what I have to speak for this summer, which is fine. Thank you, Matt.
It's all good. Yeah, so I'm just going to invite in, at this point, just to take notice of where you're sitting, or maybe where you're laying down. And just kind of like settle into maybe a little bit more comfort. Maybe just tapping into the body a little bit. And just taking notice of the body for a minute and what it needs. And as we're getting started, I'm just going to invite in that maybe we move a little bit. I'll stay in the chair in case you don't want to get up. And so I'm just going to invite in things like just rubbing the hands. And just kind of getting the arms a little bit. Rubbing the arms up and down. Maybe getting the shoulders. Adding a little shaking. Or a little arm circle. Whatever feels right. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. But the key here is just to move the body, shake, move the energy, get the legs a little bit. Maybe the thighs. Maybe we get the stomach feels about right. You can even wiggle if you're sitting or laying down, just kind of move around a little bit. Calves, your feet, maybe even moving the feet on the floor, maybe going barefoot, and just kind of like moving the feet back and forth just a little bit. And then just kind of like, I just invite in as we draw this to a close, just kind of shaking the whole body. And now I'm just going to invite you to settle into your space. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And just finding this breath, inhaling through the nose, out through the mouth. Maybe breathing into your stomach. And after that movement, just maybe asking yourself, how do I feel a little bit different? So just tapping into the breath. And then just asking, how do I feel a bit different from that shaking? that belly rise and fall. For me, the shaking brings like a little bit of more of a lightness to the body, maybe disrupting any heaviness or discomfort that might be that we may have been feeling earlier today. And so the breath and movement is really just such a beautiful way to really help with the flow of energy within the body. And if we are feeling uptight, then there's a disruption in the flow of energy. So let's maybe stay with breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And so let's take this disruption of energy and use it on one of the bowls for a minute. So if I hit the bowl, like, why is it making that sound? And part of the reason that it's making the sound is that when I hit it, it sends an energy throughout the crystal. Or same thing with the Tibetan bowls. When I hit it, it's sending an energy, a frequency, a vibration throughout the whole bowl. And there's no disruption in the flow of energy. If I allow for the sound to die down, and let's just say I'm going to hit this larger bowl here, and I'm going to disrupt the energy of the bowl. So I'm going to hit it, and then just by pinching it, it disrupts that flow of energy through the bowl, and you can see how quickly it stops. And so maybe, as we're moving throughout our day, bringing in that awareness of the breathing. So maybe we're nose breathing, which is what should be our dominant breath. Or maybe we're just breathing like we are now, if you're breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then we can think about the flow of energy. So the sound can help relax our bodies to help create more of a flow. And then any triggers or things during our day might disrupt the flow. And then we tense up. And then how does our behavior change when we tense up and there's an occurrence or a happening? And so our goal, is to find where we do not have disruption, right? And that's where the breath becomes so important. So an invitation just to lay back. Tune into that breathing in through the nose. And I'm going to invite in just a double inhale through the nose for a moment with a longer exhale. And just really allowing for the exhale to drop after the second inhale. And let's just do this for a couple minutes. And just breathe in the sound, the frequency, and maybe allow for this flow of energy to help calm and relax the body, relax our physical being with that double inhale through the nose, and then dropping the breath out of the mouth. And now just dropping the breath and just allowing for your body to breathe you for a moment. And maybe just taking notice a little bit deeper of how are you feeling now. And then taking awareness here for a moment, maybe maybe you were able to drop thought, drop the realities of life, maybe things that are going on for you. And so the invitation here is to just bring the mind's awareness to your body. How is your heart feeling at this moment? Maybe just being aware of the breath. Did I naturally settle into a nose breath? And can I maybe feel the rise and fall of the stomach? And then for a moment here, we're just going to invite in maybe another way to help discover how energy may feel when it flows and maybe when it's stuck. So as you lie down, I'm going to invite that you just stay with nose breathing here for a moment. If you need to exhale or anything through the mouth, feel free. And then I'm going to invite you to take notice of your hands and place your hands slightly out in front of you. And so what we're going to do here with our hands is we're going to make a fist and we're going to squeeze really tight. And as we're nose breathing, I'm just going to invite in that we breathe into the tightness of the hands. And then I'll count down from 3 and we will release very slowly. Like, don't tense up the hands quite yet, but I'm just going to maybe even just move the fingers for a moment or stretch them out. But when I count down from 3 and we release, the invitation is not going to be to just drop the hands open and release, but to be really methodical, really slow, and just really breathing into the energy of releasing tension and breathing into the sensations of relaxing those muscles around the hand, the wrist, maybe even the forearms, maybe even the shoulders as well. But just taking notice of what's tense and how does the system relax when we allow for it. And when we relax, what I'm going to invite in is that we exhale through the mouth and extend that just a little bit longer than maybe what you're doing now. And so if you're ready, we're going to go ahead and tighten up your fists. Really squeeze tight here for a moment and really breathe in to how this is feeling for you. And last breath with it. 3, 2, 1. Begin exhaling through the mouth as we slowly feel the tension release. Maybe extending the exhale just a little bit more than normal. And then maybe moving the fingers, stretching the fingers again. And then settling into the breath. And taking notice of the body again. And adding whatever you may need. If it's a shake, if it's a movement, if it's a stretch. Just moving the fingers like playing the piano. this one more time. So let's, what holds a lot of our deeper traumas, stuff where a lot of energy is disrupted at one common area is our stomach. So we're going to repeat this again, and we're going to really squeeze the stomach super tight. And the invitation here again is going to be to really breathe into the tension, into the tightness, not quite yet. And then we're slowly going to release, and then just feel into that difference as we focus on releasing the tension. And so in 3, 2, 1, really tighten up the whole stomach. Don't hold your breath though. See if you can keep breathing. This one might be easier to hold your breath, but or if you need to, that's fine too. And tighten it up again. Maybe tighten. Now hold your breath with the tightening. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it, hold it, and now 3, 2, 1, slowly release the tension. Return to exhaling through the mouth, and just inviting in, taking notice of how the stomach is beginning to unravel itself for a moment. Drop it into your body. And now we'll do it one more time, last one. So this last one, the invitation is to straighten out your legs. And we're going to tighten everything up from the toes, the feet, the shins, the calves, the knees, even the hips, the quads, and hamstrings. And we're just going to really tighten up that lower body. And so on 3, 2, 1, tighten up that lower body, really stiffen it out. Let's just hold that, hold that. Now hold the breath for a moment. Hold it. Hold, 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 hold. Now 3, 2, 1, relax. Extend the exhale. Slowly relax the tension. Keeping our awareness on how it feels to release the tension. And then just dipping into the whole body, maybe allowing for movement if it's needed. Maybe just allowing for the body to settle and to become quiet and still. moment, just inviting in our mental piece. So what are we doing here? This is like a little exercise. And so by bringing our awareness to the tension. So if this is real life, maybe a trigger is creating some type of tension within our body, creating that disruption within our flow. Maybe we're at work and we're really working really well, and then maybe something small happens and there's a disruption in the flow. Maybe the heart begins to race a little bit, maybe the throat locks up, maybe the eyes squint, maybe our facial muscles change in some manner, maybe our stomach becomes upset, maybe the heart feels heavy all of a sudden on the chest. And so when we breathe into that tightness like we did, so we were practicing bringing our awareness to tension in the body that we created. And so when we do that, we're somatically working or becoming aware somatically of the energy within our system. And where is that disruption in the flow? And can we identify where that is, particularly when there's a trigger throughout our workday? And then by using the breath and keeping the awareness on it, we can allow for that exhale to maybe soften that tension, release it. And we were practicing releasing that. And so when there's tension due to an event, there's also an emotion that comes with that. And so as we're focused somatically into the energy and the tightness, we may also even recognize what emotion. Maybe we become a little upset. Maybe we're super happy. Maybe we're jealous. Maybe self-sabotage is starting to come in, whatever. And so maybe it's something that we shouldn't really be thinking about or dealing with in the moment. So we can even speak to the emotion from the mental aspect of it. And so mentally we can take charge and use the brain in a healthy way, and just saying hi to the emotion, saying hi to the somatic charge within our system, and mentally just cue in words of beauty. And so we can help the softening with the breath. We can help the softening with our inner voice mentally, and being kind to her, being that parent. And then as we settle everything down, hopefully after we speak to it and go through these steps, then maybe we hit a point of, well, what's my behavior now? And so if this is a normal trigger and you tried these steps, we can take a look and discern what is my behavior, and also have the awareness of what was my old behavior and how is it different. When I bring awareness to the somatic charge, when I bring awareness and attention to the emotion, when I mentally tune into the somatic charge and the emotion and maybe speak to it, maybe even realizing or knowing that this might be something that I need to work on, either with a coach or on my own a little bit, depending on where you are with your journey. And then hopefully in the end, if we do this enough, what might happen is that we unconsciously begin doing this and we start changing the energy of the trigger that's arising within the system. And if we can hit that point of Sammy, if we can hit that, Sammy, that's the guard dog. Sammy. No, it's okay. He just wants to. You just surprised him, I think. Come here, Sammy.
I'm working.
He's friendly. He's just not knowing. That's all.
Hey.
Sammy. I think that caught them off guard.
Sammy.
So, like, there's a disruption in the flow right there with Sammy. Being the guard dog. He didn't hear the car pull up. It was so quiet.
Hey.
And so even right there, when there's a disruption, even like that, like with a dog, same thing. Like, it charges up our system for a moment. And then we want to kind of tune into it and allow for it to relax. And so this just being like maybe another tool, another way to start considering this. So I'm just going to invite you now just to let the words that I just spoke of how we can somatically become aware of any charges within the body, what emotion is tapped into that, how can we maybe mentally tune into it, maybe speak to it, and then how does our behavior change, or is it the same? And then maybe with enough practice, we begin to unconsciously react to this trigger unconsciously. And we kind of go through these steps kind of naturally without having to really put effort into it, say. So just let this sink in for a moment. And then, with this, if you have any questions or thoughts, you can always reach out. How was that for you today, Sandy? How was bringing in a different, bringing in those 5 pieces, and maybe even what was that experience like for you, doing the tightening and bringing awareness to a tightness or a tension that we created ourselves, but just a way to maybe help start identifying.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, how you had us do the slow release, it really brought a way deeper sense of relaxation to my core, once I was fully released, you know what I mean? So that intentional tightening and then releasing, I had a way more deeper sense of just relaxation. And I was getting it was funny because it was the birds all of a sudden came back to their birdhouse over my head, and they were all participating and all excited, and then I became really aware of one of the flowers, the leaf touched me, and then I just kind of held on to it, and I felt like I was just so connected to the trees and the birds and the flower really reached out to me, and it was doing this at first, and I was okay, I don't think that's a bug, and then I was oh, it's a leaf, and I was be my friend, and so I definitely had a deeper sense of I think it definitely activated my endocannabinoid system. I released some kind of I don't know if it was a cannabinoid or dopamine or what it was, but it definitely had more of a release in my brain, even oxytocin. I felt very in tune, connected, and in love with the world.
Yeah, it's a beautiful exercise too. And then then as we bring that type of awareness, we can maybe even have, like, we can bring that awareness to, like, what's going on with our body throughout the different times of the day, when things are arising. And maybe just a way, maybe even a practice you can bring in to maybe even help you fall asleep. To start bringing more awareness into, like, what's going on and how we relax and how does that feel. Because some of us might be really disconnected from the body as well, too.
Well, also, and when the dog...
Yeah.
When the dog started barking, that was, like, a major trigger for me running at my parents because, like, I've been attacked by a dog. So, like, I instantly tensed up. And then the breath, like, releasing again.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of brought me back. My heart even, like, kind of had a palpitation there for a second.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it brought me back to earth quicker.
Yeah.
I think my parents are actually trying to come out. So I'm going to let you wrap up the podcast now.
Okay.
And I will end it and escort them
maybe
out.
just, if you're going to bring Sammy in, maybe just talk to him.
Well, I think that they want to come out. Yeah.
Who is that, Sammy? Who is that? Sammy, say hi. Sammy. So, but anyways, you guys, thank you for coming in today.